The Horizon League Conference Tournament has arrived, and it is win or go home. On Wednesday night, the Milwaukee Panthers head to Michigan to take on the Detroit Mercy Titans in the first round of the conference tournament.
Panthers with another takeaway. Aguilar with numbers left to right. Stevie Elam steps into a three and buries it.
Scott Warris has the coverage Wednesday starting at 5:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock. Come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness or just something that people know would make your family's name look bad, your neighbor from down the street, if they see the son or daughter, be like, what are you doing? They gonna call you out. They gonna let you know that they saw you. And then they gonna tell you, come here. Now, you know I'm gonna tell your daddy.
That part.
There are a lot of times when people are new to an area, they don't know where to plug in. And anybody who plugs in to 101.7 The Truth and listen to you and Dame and Truth Nation would know that there is a significant public outcry when violence happens in our community. Don't worry about the outcry if you're not listening to the right people. So I would encourage her to tune in to 101.7 The Truth and listen to you guys, Denise Thomas, Dr. Ken Harris, Tori Lowe, and definitely Sherwin Hughes every day.
Watch all your favorite 101.7 The Truth shows by subscribing to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Breaking news, weather, entertainment, and sports. We have it all here. This is 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by FidelityInvestments.com. Former NFL player and former Washington Commanders president Jason Wright is now focused on building up women's sports. He's head of investments at Project Level, a private investment fund dedicated to women's sports at Ariel Investments. The fund recently reached $250 million, and Wright spoke to Bloomberg about what hitting that number means for Project Level.
Women's sports are the small caps of sports, and so $250 million puts us amongst, if not the largest women's sports fund in the world, and that allows us to get at scale in the cap table so that we can really bring what's unique to us, which is operational expertise, not just the ability to run a healthy P&L and EBITDA producing women's sports franchises and leagues, but also to bring the relational capital to get good deals done.
Wright also says the overarching goal at Project Level is to get women athletes paid more. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Want consistent color for every job? Milo's Pro Rewards members get a 20% paint discount on future purchases after paint annual qualifying spend reaches $3,000. Plus, order eligible in-stock paint and paint supplies by 2 p.m. for free same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Improving is easy at Lowe's. Excludes spray paint and mist tints. More exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Subject to change. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Same-day delivery valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. Details at Lowe's.com/same-day delivery.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams, he molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday, March 4th, 2025. I'll be honest with you, I was riveted to the election coverage in Texas because I'm curious as to the reliable direction that the country is moving in. And I know that Texas is not always the best indicator of where Democratic messaging should be. So it's not so much that. It's what is resonating with voters enough to move primary voters? Because primary elections are usually very low turnout, very specific people vote in primaries. It's usually the party faithful, but there was a larger number of young voters, because I was watching all the coverage while the polls were still open in Texas. And when young voters are showing up, that oftentimes is a breath of fresh air or a sign that people who typically would not be engaged in party politics, or at least not engaged early, that they are paying a little bit more attention. And I wonder why people would be paying more attention to politics and to elections and campaigns now, maybe more than any other time. Your guess is as good as mine. Unfortunately, Jasmine Crockett did fall short last night in her bid to be Texas's next Democratic senator. She fell short to a very shiny and polished James Tallarico. He's like Beto O'Rourke 2.0. Texas has been getting a little bit closer to being a much more Democratic-leaning state, and some of that is just the changing demographics, or it could be the very changing Republican Party under Donald Trump. But Jasmine Crockett, who has been here on 101.7 The Truth, more times than I can count. I've interviewed her a number of times. Other colleagues of mine have also spoken with her. So we got real familiar with her and her policies and her politics here on 101.7 The Truth. Very outspoken, very articulate, exceptionally intelligent, young African-American attorney from the Houston area. But as predicted yesterday, I just didn't think that even in these political days and times where strong voices opposing Republican leadership would be valued and vaulted, she did in fact fall short. From BBC News, the march to the U.S. midterm elections, which will determine which party controls both chambers of Congress for the second half of Donald Trump's presidency, is officially underway. Voters in a handful of states headed to the polls yesterday to pick the Democratic and Republican candidates for the November general election. It was Texas and contested primary races for a U.S. Senate seat that attracted the lion's share of attention. The races in the southern state could shed light on the directions that America's two major parties are taking in the coming election season. For the Democrats, State Representative James Tallarico defeated Dallas-based U.S. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and will advance to the general election. The Republican race was not decided on Tuesday as Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and U.S. Senator John Cornyn the incumbent each finished with less than 50%. So I was looking at a couple of races where they had other primaries. North Carolina was one that I was also paying attention to because North Carolina has the potential to help the Democrats in their quest for not just governorships, but also control of the U.S. Senate. The Senate control is still a long shot, but as time goes on and the 47th and consequently the 45th president continues to be the gift that keeps on giving, Democratic control of the U.S. Senate becomes a little bit more in focus. Very few incumbents that were on the ballot yesterday. And I know it's very early in the season and so much can happen between now and November, but just a snapshot of the voter sentiment, even if you were reasonably popular, very few incumbents got 50% of the vote in the primary. Very few. That means that just there's an overall air of dissatisfaction with anybody who was in office right now. And I think this is good and healthy for democracy. Even though the incumbents may not be directly responsible for the turmoil that is happening right now, it seems that, and maybe I'm too early in predicting this, American voters, or maybe a subset of American voters, those folks who don't often engage and rarely vote in primaries, I think they might be looking for a reset, which I'd have to say is an understatement of the year. A reset would be a good place to start. This one comes from Politico. Representative Jasmine Crockett conceded to State Representative James Tallarico in the Texas Democratic Senate primary Wednesday morning after saying on Tuesday night that the election could not be called due to legal disputes over voting precinct hours in Dallas. So as I'm watching some of the coverage last night, not only were the lines incredibly long, there was some unusual results in how they were reported. So we had Democratic results from Texas in the U.S. Senate primary fairly early on, but there were hours and hours where there were zero Republican reported results, which makes no sense to me. Somebody goes and they vote somewhere in the state of Texas. Austin, San Antonio, El Paso, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, wherever they're voting. You cast a ballot. You've got choices on the Democratic side. Got choices on the Republican side. Votes are put into the machines. They are tallied when the polls close. It made zero sense. And this is one of the reasons why Jasmine Crockett is seeking legal clarification or some kind of a legal remedy, where there were zero reported results from the Republicans, but we knew the Democratic results. And it was also very disappointing, I'm sure, to Jasmine Crockett, who is a Houston-based member of Congress, to see that she was leading for a real good portion of the evening. In fact, she probably was up 5, 6, 7 points at one time, and then all of a sudden her lead came crashing down. At the same time, we had zero results from any of the Republican candidates. So she is seeking some kind of a legal remedy, but also political parties in Texas have much more power, influence, and sway over primary elections than in general elections. So it's either because of the primary and these voting centers that they had in certain places around Houston. So you don't go to your normal polling place. You would go to a voting center, which did cause some confusion. Some people showed up at their old polling location, didn't know that they had to go vote at one of these voting centers. And, that's disenfranchisement. Now, it's not everybody. I know that if I go to my polling location and it's not in operation, I am going to take however much time I need to find where I actually cast my vote. But that's me. And a lot of you probably would do the exact same thing because you will be undeterred. There's a percentage of people that when they show up to vote and they see that polling location is not open, it's not operational, they are going home, they're going back to work, they're going to pick up their kids, they're going to go out to dinner. And it's that little bit of confusion that I think Republicans either they sow into this system or they're testing it for what may happen in November. I just do not think that November is going to go smoothly, especially if the momentum that we are seeing being built by Democrats, even lackluster Democrats, are doing better than they ever would in this potential political climate. I just don't see this going off smoothly come November because of the risks to Republican policies if Democrats are able to get control of the House, let alone the House and the Senate. Quote, Texas is primed to turn blue And we must remain united because this is bigger than any one person, Jasmine Crockett said in a statement. This is about the future of all 30 million Texans and getting America back on track. With the primary behind us, Democrats must rally around our nominees and win. The fact that there's a possibility that Texas may turn blue, even if it's just the lightest shade of blue, that speaks volumes about the current political climate that we are in, where the only political party you can blame for what is happening right now, I guess both good and bad, are the Republicans. They have, for all intents and purposes, the Supreme Court. They have governors. Republicans have a president. They have a majority in the House of Representatives, and they have a majority in the U.S. Senate. Even here in Wisconsin, Republicans have a majority in the state assembly and the state senate. They are controlling the government. But it's interesting because they don't seem to take as much heat when things are going poorly. Like Democrats take heat if things aren't perfect. Oh, gas prices can go up when Trump is president. Absolutely. Well, because, in the Middle East and all of the Muslims in the Middle East, and that's because it's somebody else's fault. Let gas go up a single penny under a Barack Obama or Joe Biden administration, and Democrats are the worst thing ever for the economy. Well, if jobs are not being created under Donald Trump, that's because other countries in the trade and they're cheating America and NATO. That's why jobs aren't being created under Trump, because the other countries don't like America. America first, make America great again, make America healthy again, all of the things. If there's a Democrat in office and jobs are not being created, it's because Democrats want to put all the socialisms everywhere and want to give everybody free health care and give the black people the reparations and have free college, and they're ruining the economy. So the double standard is insane. But hopefully with this political reset that I am predicting and forecasting, assuming Republicans don't foul everything up, hopefully things get better before they get worse. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. I want to share something with you that I found that may be, and correct me if I'm wrong, the underpinning of why so few Americans understand or can comprehend what is happening in this country right now. And it's one of the subjects that we discuss with great frequency, or at least I do. It's education, and I'm a proponent of it. I think it needs to exist in high quality everywhere. I think it's an economic issue. I think it's a workforce issue. It's a political issue. Education is. Unfortunately, we've politicized it. But there's something that we are missing in our conversations about it. And also, I've heard people say stuff like, oh, well, these parents, it's their responsibility to fill in the gaps and the blanks where the school system is getting it wrong. If a child is not performing well, if their reading scores are low, their math scores are low, and these parents are non-participatory, so you got to blame the parents. I'm not entirely against that argument, but there's something else that I believe that we're missing. Also, during the pandemic, when all these parents who are supposed to take a much more upfront and direct role in their children's education, during the pandemic when children were at home, oh, I saw the groups that you guys were starting on Reddit and on Facebook. You couldn't even help your kids with their 5th and 6th grade math. Yet these are the same people, these are the parents that you want to be much more involved in their kids' education. It's been proven that parents are not effective at it. But I'm going to give you more details on what I think the underpinnings are when it comes to education in this country and how it impacts everything else. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I travel all around the world, Dr. Ken, and when I tell you, based on my experiences, This is like the number one country that cares. Like everything is about money. Yep. Everything.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I've told people in the past, you have to be careful of what you complain about and what you use as a tool because other people will take it and use it in the wrong way.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the new 1017 The Truth.
The City Conference Boys Championship game did not disappoint last weekend. In the Gold Division title game, the two-time defending conference champs, the Milwaukee Juneau Pioneers, went toe-to-toe with the Milwaukee Hamilton Wildcats. This game was a back-and-forth battle, but the Pioneers made the plays down the stretch to pull out a 76-72 win behind a great performance of Gonzaga recruit and junior player Dooney Johnson, who dropped 28 points in the victory. And in the Blue Division, the Golden Meyer Owls did what they have done all year long in conference play, is just win, as they defeated the Audubon Cardinals 87-79 behind a strong performance from their senior guard Caleb Colbert, clinching the Blue Division crown. And lastly, in the White Division, the Bayview Redcats left no doubt cruising past the Vincent Vikings 90-64 to win the White Division Conference Tournament.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Woo, you sure gotta climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the Capitol.
I know this takes a lot of you back on Saturday mornings, probably starting in the 1970s and continuing to, I'm going to say the early or mid-90s, we had these little cartoon specials that were designed to not just entertain, but educate and inform. And I grew up watching Schoolhouse Rock, and it wasn't a chore watching these educational cartoons. And then lo and behold, just as I grew up and continued through my educational journey and in my educational environment, and I went to nothing but public schools, even though you all may hear me talk about my support for private schools, I support parents that want to make decisions on behalf of their children, because we, the public, when we see the lackluster output of our children's test scores, we put a lot of pressure on those same parents, and we should, because we want parents to be more involved, to be more engaged. We don't often look at people's individual circumstances. Like, some people have to work 2 and 3 jobs, and they're still poor. And I was reading a post yesterday on social media. This woman said that she works 6 days a week just to be broke, and it was hundreds of comments agreeing with her. But at the end of the day, it's a parent's responsibility, and you got to take care of your kids, because if you don't, then society will, and you as a parent may not like how society is going to take care of your child. So we put a lot of pressure on these parents, but I also want to give parents the leverage and the latitude to make decisions to help improve their kids' educational outcomes. But the environment that we had some time ago, and you have to look at demographic shifts. You have to. These things do not exist independent of one another. America now is on the verge of, if not, depends on where you start counting, a majority minority country. And I'm not going to go into some long, angry, combative diatribe or soliloquy about race, but just know that it has some kind of a factor. And if you can imagine a country, maybe let's say in the 1980s, 1970s, where 80% of the population or more was Caucasian, where there were minority populations that were so small, they were too small or too inefficient to intentionally segregate because they were really small. And the education that the children received was for a majority white country that wanted to have as educated a population as possible, because then our biggest national or international adversary were the communist regimes of the Soviet Union. And so one way in which we were going to beat them, and this goes back to the 1960s, where we wanted to be the first ones to space. And we wanted to conquer space, and we wanted to go to the moon to show and exhibit American exceptionalism in science, technology, engineering, and math. That is the way in which we led the world. We led the world by example. We led the world because we were just so damn smart. We led the world because American capitalism and people making money and then paying taxes invested in our education system for a nation that was majority white. But then as time went on and the populations changed, as they do, and more people got excited by America. Like, we promoted ourselves as the ultimate pageant queen. America's a place for opportunity. You can come over here and you can start with nothing. Your parents and grandparents and somebody can come over here from Ellis Island with nothing but lint in their pocket and dirt on their faces. And you can become incredible and rich and powerful. That was a story that sold very, very well all over the world. And then more and more people wanted to come to this country because, my goodness, and the Americans are in space. We sent somebody to the moon. Some of you don't believe it, but I don't blame you for not believing it, because there's information I'm going to share with you that makes sense why people think the earth is flat and why we never went to the moon. But scientifically and technologically, we were leading on planet Earth, and more people wanted to come here. And why not? We used to welcome people here. You guys know that. And I hate when people say, oh, my whoever, parents, grandparents, they came over here legally. Shut up. There was no laws to break. We wanted a workforce. We wanted people from everywhere. America didn't turn anybody away because we were going to put you to work. And the less English you spoke and the poorer you were, the better, because we could put you in the most meager working conditions and you wouldn't complain because it was better than when you came from. But then as the demographics of the nation starts to shift, and this pageant queen of America started to attract more brown people, racial and ethnic minorities, then all of a sudden this education system that was designed to fortify the intelligence of white people was now fortifying the intelligence of people of color who are very much still oppressed. And so you have to change it. You got to switch it up. You cannot provide the same things, same educational opportunities to these brown kids that you provided to white kids when the country was majority white. And like, I'm not even using hyperbole here. Like, this is literally what is happening. You guys always complain about, oh, they don't have the trades in the school anymore. They used to have the trades. Yeah, they don't want black kids getting a trade education for free because they're going to be competing against white people who have a trade education that they went to college and had to pay tuition for. America's never wanted black people or brown people to be competitive. Like, why is that so hard to believe? On an individual basis, we all know really incredible white people. They're fun to hang out with. They tell great jokes. There's no tailgating experience like a tailgating experience with the whites because they usually have pickup trucks and they got the tailgate. But when it comes to the system of white supremacy, the opportunities belong to them. Otherwise, what was the whole point of slavery? What was the point of 100 years of Jim Crow? Why, oh why, would you make it illegal to teach an African-American, an enslaved person, how to read? Why would that be illegal? That's the point. We can exist here. Other people can exist, and Mexicans can exist, and Chinese people can exist, and South American people from whatever country, they can exist, but you just can't get ahead. And when their numbers, those numbers of people who are never supposed to get ahead, begin to outpace the people who are always supposed to be ahead, you're going to see diminished educational outcomes. Because if they are more educated than the ones who basically founded and shaped this nation to be a capitalist, colonial, imperial colony, then the whole thing just turns out to be a house of cards. I got some information on literacy that is going to blow your mind. I had to reread it and re-vet it, and I had to search and search again because I couldn't believe the national literacy statistics in this country. So dumbing down this nation is going to do something. And it's not just about marginalizing black people and people of color, even though I hate the term people of color. It's about creating larger classes of illiterate poor people of any race so that those at the very top can literally be above the law. And everybody else doesn't even understand the laws that the elites are above. We're over here twiddling our thumbs, wondering why nobody is getting prosecuted for the Epstein files. Because think about this for a second. If nobody does get prosecuted, or if the only person in jail for the Epstein files is a woman, well, what's the problem? What? And we still talk about it because people are they're perplexed and they're baffled. How come nobody is in jail for all of the things that happened to the kids in the island and all of the things? And if you continue to ask about it, which you are doing a really good job of, they'll just start a war. But there's something underpinning all of that, and I'm going to share it with you on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do the wiggles. The slate's coming in.
What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
You're just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, do you know about the USA? Do you know about the government? Can you tell me about the Constitution? Hey, learn about the USA.
Oh, the memories this brings back. Honestly, if you quizzed a middle-aged person, what is middle-aged, 40, 50, whatever it is, and you ask them basically anything that is in this very simple and easy-to-digest cartoon, I bet you they wouldn't be able to tell you the first thing. People know the Second Amendment, that's for sure. That one's pretty easy. Well, the first one, too. The First Amendment is you get to talk, and the government shouldn't be able to go after you for talking, even if you're saying stuff the government doesn't like. So because we have the freedom to talk, kind of, and the press has freedom because, you know, to fuel democracy, you need information coming from our elected leaders. So you have the freedom to talk. But then the next amendment has to be a gun, because with all that talking, you might get into a bit of an argument. I had quite a bit of that going on here in the city of Milwaukee, where people are fighting and shooting each other in hospital waiting rooms over simple disagreements. But, you know, if you got the freedom of speech, then, of course, you're probably going to need a gun, which is unfortunate. We have a problem in this country, and we titled the program, Houston, We Have a Problem, which is a bit of a shout to Jasmine Crockett, who was defeated in her primary bid for a U.S. Senate seat in Texas, but also a problem with real basic literacy, and it's not just with MPS. For some reason, we think that our academic troubles are just limited to the youngest of those. Every now and again, myself and my colleagues will talk about the low performance of MPS. Look at that as not necessarily how those young people are doing right now, because some of them will get caught up, some of them will be just fine. They will have opportunities to be successful. But look at the low test scores as what the future of adults are going to be, because there are large swaths of people who will continue to read on a sixth grade level. And as sad as that is, and if that's the reality, and I got some information I'm going to share with you, then why not take advantage of that? If you know that there are numbers of people, especially maybe in a certain congressional district, whose educational institutions have been classically underfunded for whatever reason, maybe the property taxes are low, maybe the state government is going through a period of budget shortfalls and austerity. But if you know this particular district, congressional district, state senate district, state congressional district, or state assembly districts as we call them here, they have underfunded and underperforming schools, then there's a likelihood there's a high level of poverty, but also adults in that same district who are impacted by that underfunded school, and you can lie to them and they won't know the difference. You can sell them a dream and they'll believe it. You talk to them in these really simple and easy to understand, even for them, these adults that have the right to vote, that have a sixth grade education, you talk to them in just very simple terms. And then you seem very relatable as a politician. If you just say, well, let's kick them all out of the country. Let's deport them. Let's build a wall. Let's make America great again. Oh, you're sick, you need health care, you can't afford your health care, your hospitals and your clinics you're closing all the hospitals and the clinics. We'll make America healthy again. And believe it or not, it works, because if you have low levels of literacy and low levels of understanding of how policy actually works, you can fool and manipulate people. Race plays a factor in a lot of stuff. The more you look into the history of things in this nation, they oftentimes have a foundation of separation. And if there's going to be a chasm between educational understanding and race, somebody's going to take advantage of that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a competitive system. That is why the idea of socialism and providing certain things, whether it be a universal basic income, a low cost or free education, low cost or free health care, is just not palatable, because you need to be a special one. You need to be intelligent. You need to have some kind of accolade in order to be able to get those things. We can't just give that stuff to people. We don't want everyone to be on equal footing, because then the people at the very, very, very top will have fewer people to look down on. And I don't think those folks want to share space with the likes of us. Adult literacy in the United States reveals a deep divide in reading and comprehension skills across the entire U.S. population. The latest data shows more than half of adults read below a sixth grade level. I'm going to stop right there. Half of this country isn't even in middle school. Now, think about this now, because you probably have a group in mind. You're probably already saying, oh, it's those people. It's these people over there. And sure, it is. But now think about members of your own family. Think about your damn coworkers. This is not just a small percentage of people. This is more than half of the United States. Hell, it might even be some of you. Adult literacy levels in the U.S. reveal a deep divide in reading and comprehension skills across the entire population. The latest data shows that more than half of adults read below a sixth grade level, with millions more struggling to complete everyday reading tasks. These statistics underscore the urgent need for nationwide support and accessible programs. Strengthening adult literacy is essential to individual success and national progress. I'm going to give you a couple relatable examples. Typically, a referendum, when it's placed on our ballot, it can have monumental consequences if it passes or fails. A state referendum put on a ballot in a high turnout election has the ability to permanently change not just laws in the state of Wisconsin, but change the Constitution, the very written foundation of what this state actually is. They are written in language that's intentionally complicated and hard to understand. I have read several referenda before and on previous ballots, and I got a damn college degree, and I read 150 pages a day. I'm as avid a reader as you probably are ever going to find, and sometimes I can't even understand these referenda. Imagine somebody with a sixth grade education. And what will happen is they'll read the referendum, don't understand it, and they'll either vote wrong or they won't vote in it at all. But the people that were instrumental in putting that very complicated linguistic referendum on the ballot, they always will vote for it, and a lot of times it will pass. They are taking advantage of the fact that there are people in this country. I'm talking about adults. When you see children's levels of reading comprehension low, that means there's one more, at minimum, one more generation of people that are going to deal with illiteracy. I was always so disappointed by a particular fact, and it remains true. Wisconsin, Minnesota, I'm not sure who's third. Maybe somewhere out east, maybe Massachusetts, consistently have the highest voter turnout percentages in the country, which is great. That means more people are, paying attention and casting ballots. I think the best we've ever done in Wisconsin ever, and this puts us definitely in the top three, is 75%. I mean, everything could be on the line. The economy could be horrible. We could have a recession. Banks aren't lending anymore. We're losing jobs. No more manufacturing. Welfare rolls are up. Unemployment is up. Like all the stakes. We could be at war. We could be at two wars. You might even have a black guy on the ballot. All of the things that you would think that, wait, these are eligible voters now. This is not 75% of the population. This is 75% of the people who are at least 18, are not on paper for a felony, and are otherwise eligible to cast ballots. And we are top three in the nation at 75%. And I realize the reason why it's not 77 or 80 or 90 or damn near 100%, because, in Europe, they sometimes have 90+% turnout in their elections. And people will say stuff like, well, in Europe, they take the day off. Election day isn't off. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Even if we had election day off here, or if people voted for a whole damn week, the best we're still ever going to see is less than 80%. And I realize that other 20 or 25% of people that do not vote can't read the ballot. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I want to share with you some numbered statistics. I got 25 different statistics that talk about American adults that are functionally illiterate. And some of these people are running the government. Some of these people are selecting and voting for and choosing people to run the government. It is literally a crisis, but it also underpins why so few people even understand what is going on, because they can't even read the text. They can't even read the documents. Now you have this whole thing now where we're not teaching young people cursive. They can't read, and now they won't be able to write. Like, oh, they don't need cursive. Not knowing manuscript means that kids won't even be able to read the original founding documents of this nation because they were never taught how. But that probably is very much on purpose. And also, cursive is so hard. It's also why Americans only speak one language. Some of us can barely even speak English, and it's our only language. We're going to figure this damn thing out. Make sure you stay tuned. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Horizon League Conference Tournament has arrived, and it is win or go home. On Wednesday night, the Milwaukee Panthers head to Michigan to take on the Detroit Mercy Titans in the first round of their conference tournament.
Panthers with another takeaway. Aguilar with numbers left to right. Stevie Elam steps into a three and buries it.
Scott Warris has the coverage Wednesday starting at 5:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock. This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the new 1017 The Truth.
The City Conference Boys Championship game did not disappoint last weekend. In the Gold Division title game, the two-time defending conference champs, the Milwaukee Juno Pioneers, went toe-to-toe with the Milwaukee Hamilton Wildcats. This game was a back-and-forth battle, but the Pioneers made the plays down the stretch to pull out a 76-72 win behind a great performance of Gonzaga recruit and junior player Dooney Johnson, who dropped 28 points in the victory. And in the Blue Division, the Golden Meyer Owls did what they have done all year long in conference play, is just win, as they defeated the Audubon Cardinals 87-79 behind a strong performance from their senior guard Caleb Colbert, clinching the Blue Division crown. And lastly, in the White Division, the Bayview Redcats left no doubt cruising past the Vincent Vikings 90-64 to win the White Division Conference Tournament.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, Truth Nation, it's your girl DT. You want to mark your calendar. Saturday, March 28th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Cream City and Milwaukee chapters of the Links Incorporated present the Black Family Wellness Expo at Evolve Church. Free health screenings, mental health resources, nutrition and wellness education, family-friendly activities, trusted community providers, no cost, walk-ins are welcome. Let's strengthen and sustain healthy Black families together. March 28th, Evolve Church. Be there.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Hurt by a truck? Call Gruber's offices. One call, that's all.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
%28 of U.S. adults scored at or below level 1 literacy, indicating significant difficulty with everyday reading tasks. It's a third of the country. So that is 100 million people. 29% of U.S. adults scored at level 2 literacy, showing basic reading proficiency, but challenges with complex text. They can't read a bill. If you can't read a bill, you don't know what's in it. If you don't know what's in it, you don't know what it's going to do. If you don't know what it's going to do now, you're going to have no idea what it's going to do and how it's going to look and how it's going to shape society in the future. But then you will be living in that future where the bill's effects are now making themselves evident, and you won't know how we got here. How did the world become what it is? These mechanisms, ladies and gentlemen, are intentionally complex. They are. And if you have an impact and an input on literacy levels and education, because this literally is, we're going to use that word a lot, the whole point and purpose of having an education system, to make sure that people can be involved, they can be engaged, and they can participate as our democracy moves forward, because we used to be this shining city on a hill, this beacon of hope for so many, partially because we had really smart people in this country. We had really great leaders, at least I think we did. And they pushed for education because we wanted to be the top dog. We wanted to be more competitive than our foreign adversaries, especially with our young people in the classroom, because they would be the leaders of the future. But as the demographics of this nation has changed, even though there may be some really smart Latino kids, really smart Asian kids, which we certainly know there's plenty of them, and really smart African-American kids, we don't want them to lead this nation. And so if we have to diminish the quality of education for everybody, and it will create classes of permanently disenfranchised, it'll create large swaths of people that'll never vote, that'll be chronically poor from one generation to the next, and then there's going to be negative health outcomes. That works perfectly fine for the very small group of people that are at the top that are sexually assaulting children and will never go to jail. So it is working for someone. 44% of U.S. adults scored at level 3 literacy or above, indicating strong reading and comprehension skills. About 130 million U.S. adults, 54%, those aged 16 to 74, read below a 6th grade level. Approximately 45 million U.S. adults are functionally illiterate, reading below a 5th grade level. 21% of U.S. adults are classified as functionally illiterate, unable to complete basic reading tasks. The average American reads at a 7th to 8th grade level. This is not kids. This is adults. This might be your boss, co-workers. Hell, it could be the cop that pulls you over. Adults scoring in the lowest literacy levels, level 1 or below, increased by 9 points between 2017 and 2023. It's getting worse. Adults scoring in the lowest literacy level, level 1 or below, increased by 9 points between 2017 and 2023. That is an additional probably 5 million people added to the numbers that are functionally illiterate, and then look who got elected in 2024. It's why you can't even have a debate with somebody. You can't even stay on the issues because they literally cannot understand nor comprehend what you are talking about. But they will argue, they will get personal, they'll get angry. That's the first sign that you are dealing with one of these people. They literally don't have the mental capacity or the intelligence to even understand what the issue is. And so once you're involved in a conversation with somebody that, even if you challenge them, like they think that you're challenging who they are as a person. No, you're just challenging their statement or you're challenging their belief, and they don't even have the vocabulary to explain themselves. And so they get angry and they get violent. How many times have you guys gotten into what you thought was a simple political debate that almost turned into somebody getting punched in the face? U.S. adults' average literacy scores declined by 12 points from 2017 to 2023, according to the latest data. 46% of U.S. adults had literacy proficiency at or above level 3. Social factors affecting literacy. Literacy is shaped by a range of social demographic factors, from birthplace and language proficiency to incarceration rates and parental education. We're probably on our third generation of MPS attendees that are impacted by the decline in our educational environments in this city. So when we tell parents, hey, you need to teach your kids how to read, you need to be much more involved in your kids' education. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not making up an excuse for these folk. They cannot. They can't help their children with their homework Once the kids get past 7th or 8th grade, we get a large number of people that the parents can't understand it. And we saw that during the pandemic. Hi, parent here. Are any of you also having trouble with your kids, helping your children with their language arts homework? Imagine the deflation of that child when they're stuck on some homework and they ask the all-knowing parent. And the parent is like, I have no idea. And the kid is like, well, hell, my parent doesn't know. 2/3 of U.S. adults with low literacy skills are U.S. born, while 34% are foreign born. Gotcha. Did you guys catch that? The people that he and some of you want to kick out of the country are more literate than those of us born here. Can you understand the implications of that? If someone coming from somewhere else, because, we want to make America great again and kick all the foreigners out and all the illegals. 66% of the people that are functionally illiterate were born here. U.S. citizens. That's the crazy part. So it would behoove the United States to let in as many foreigners as possible because they read better. You guys ready for another kicker? I almost want to save this to my next segment. Ooh, I got so much juicy stuff. And I'm not relishing in this information, but it flies in the face of what we have been told about education. This is not and no longer a problem with children. When we see the low scores from children, that means there's going to be another generation of adults that are functionally illiterate in this country that are going to be not just academically behind, but maybe even professionally behind too. And there will be people that have a lot of, I'm not going to say control, have a lot of impact on the direction of American society that are very familiar with the numbers of people that are not able to understand very complex concepts. And they're going to live in that space. And they're going to create a society. This is why I stress for people to go to college, and everybody pushes back on me. You got to go to college to even understand what the hell is happening to you. You don't go to college to get a job. You go to college to push yourself academically so that when complex things are thrown at you, like a job application, like, a situation at work that requires critical thinking, like reading the damn Constitution, reading a bill, going to a committee meeting, you go to college so you can understand that stuff. And with that increased level of understanding, you become a much more informed citizen, and then everybody around you also can improve. And yes, with that, your job opportunities may go up, but that should be secondary. You need an education because the people that are directing this society, they have one, and they want to make it as difficult for you to get one as possible. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness or just something that people know would make your family's name look bad, your neighbor from down the street, if they see the son or daughter, be like, what are you doing? They gonna call you out. They gonna let you know that they saw you. And then they gonna tell you, come here. Now, you know I'm gonna tell your daddy.
That part. There are a lot of times when people are new to an area, they don't know where to plug in. And anybody who plugs in the 101.7 The Truth and listen to you and Dame and Truth Nation would know that there is a significant public outcry when violence happens in our community. Don't worry about the outcry if you're not listening to the right people. So I would encourage her to tune in to 101.7 The Truth and listen to you guys, Denise Thomas, Dr. Ken Harris, Tori Lowe, and definitely Sherwin Hughes every day.
Watch all your favorite 101.7 The Truth shows by subscribing to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
A message from Tia Mowry, actress and Fair Celebrity Ambassador.
Game day isn't staged, it's lived. It's the shopping, the cooking, the laughter. For families managing food allergy, that same spirit of preparation means everything. Because food allergy isn't a lifestyle. It's a serious, life-threatening disease that can change everything in a moment. But being ready changes the story. It's knowing the signs, having a plan, and carrying epinephrine everywhere life takes you. Epinephrine is the only treatment that can stop a severe food allergy reaction known as anaphylaxis. It works quickly to reverse the symptoms and can save lives. As families and friends gather for the big game, we see what community looks like. It's one built on awareness, care, and love in action. Because readiness doesn't take away the risk. It brings back the joy. When you're ready to act, you're ready to live.
Visit foodallergy.org/ready to act to learn more.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Join the movement. Listen to The Tori Lowe Show on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
These statistics are abysmal, but because they are so bad, that's all the more reason for me to share them, because I want people to have a different perspective on our society. And when you tell people that, they don't need an education, they don't need to go to college, I'm going to argue that they do, because, the world is not getting more simple. So back in the day, I guess I'm old enough to be a part of the back in the day conversation. One of my favorite vehicles I've ever owned was a 1988 Chevy Blazer, and I bought it in 97. So it was 9 years old when I bought it. It's a really simple vehicle. Had a simple fuel injection system, had the big circular air cleaner right on top of the plenum right there. It's real easy to change the spark plugs and the spark plug wires. The battery was right there in front with the two connectors, the positive and the negative. I was able to essentially maintain that vehicle on my own. I could change my own oil. I was living with my parents at the time. I was in undergrad at UW Milwaukee. And it was simple. And here's what's crazy. I went to the library and found the service manual for my make and model of vehicle, my 1988 Chevrolet Blazer, because none of this stuff was on the internet yet. Like back then, the internet was basically Coca-Cola and MTV.com. That's real. The internet wasn't a lot. And AOL, whatever that was. It was real, this like simple and cartoonish. People had no idea that the internet then would be what it is. Not hell, we're on Web 3 now. So the internet of the past literally is of the past. But I remember going to the library and looking up and getting the service manual for my vehicle and making photocopies of the pages that I needed so I could perform basic maintenance on my vehicle. And also, I was a broke college student. I was living at home, had a part-time job, didn't make a whole hell of a lot of money. Had some. Comparably, I made more money then than some people are making now. Another example of that is I had an internship my last year of undergrad where the university paid me $7.50 an hour, and I got credit, and the partnering organization matched that $7.50. I was making $15 an hour in 97. There's some people that are fighting for $15 an hour 30 years later. I could change my own oil and maintain my own vehicle, and it was obviously less expensive to do so, not having to pay a mechanic. Try that now. Try that now on a new or a 2025 or a 2026. You have to be an information technology specialist to even be able to diagnose what is wrong with the vehicle. Then you got to go and reflash the computer, and then you got to go and you got to do all of the things. Everything has become much more complex. And if you think that just existing and getting real world experience is going to assist you in keeping up with how complex things have gotten, you're going to fall behind. So it's not what it was back in the day. You go to college for a specific thing. You study business, you be in business. You study anthropology, you be an anthropologist. So you study this, and this is what you be. You would pick a major based on the job that you wanted. Now you need to be in college to understand how complex the world is, and so you can be able to stay on par with people who are creating our bills, creating our laws, creating our ordinances, and reshaping American society under the radar of people who are functionally illiterate. Now, you can't take the vote away from people. You can't. And we fought really, really hard to give equal access to the ballot. But you know what one of the original fears was, and why they kept African Americans out of classrooms, and when we were enslaved, you couldn't teach us to read. And the last thing they ever wanted was for black people to get the vote. And that actually continued, like poll taxes and literacy tests continued through the Jim Crow era, because they didn't want unintelligent people. And remember, African Americans were intentionally separated and segregated, because if you separate us from white schools, then you can decide who gets the lion's share of the tax money that funds schools. That's why separate but equal was declared unconstitutional. If you know that these are the black schools that are 100% black students, then you can decide to give them 5% of the state tax money for education. And if you know that these schools in this neighborhood, in this part of town in 1947 are 100% all white, that's where they get all the money. Funny thing about MPS right now, in a segregated city, because you guys know Milwaukee's a segregated city, right? I don't have to tell you that. You've heard that before. What do you think that means? Do you think that just means geography? Black folks and white folks live next to each other routinely in this damn city. There's Latinos and Asian people in working class neighborhoods. You got black folks living on the south side of the city of Milwaukee for the first time really in this city's history, en masse. If you wanted to get elected in the city of Milwaukee throughout the generations, I'm going to go back, let's say 60 years. Your campaign literature first had to be in Polish, then Spanish. Hell, now you got to have it in African-American vernacular English. So we talk about the city being segregated. It's not just, I think it's barely geography. Poor people live in certain parts and non-poor people live in other parts. If we were an integrated city, which we're not, nor do people want us to be, you would have low-income housing on Lake Drive. Because why can't poor people have a backyard view of the lake, right? So no, we're not an integrated city. We are still segregated. But we are segregating along different lines. With race, it was easy. Now it's on income and levels of education. So when the district is starving for money, MPS, because it's at the root of this literacy crisis that we have, that when the statistics show that MPS kids are not reading well, please translate that into another generation of adults who are going to be functionally illiterate. Now, some of the adults will catch up and they'll be fine. A bunch of them won't. And they're going to be making decisions en masse about the direction of this city and are functionally illiterate, have no idea what they're doing. And think about, if you can't read and understand what the bill is, what the policy is, what the ordinance is, you will vote for anything that sounds good and looks flashy. And they're manipulating people. So when the district asks for more money, because they're aware of their negative statistics, and so are we, and we read the low levels of reading and math proficiency, we're like, oh no, the students need more money, and we approve it. The money goes to the highest performing schools that oftentimes have the teachers, principals, and administrators' children attending those schools. So the seats that are most needed by the families and the people who are living in the most destitute conditions in this segregated city can't even get their children in the best and highest performing schools because they're occupied a lot of times by white folks. But the children of Milwaukee Public Schools, administrators, principals, and other teachers. So that's another level of segregation. We still segregate the money. There's like a lawsuit that probably could be filed because if you actually, and Aisha Carr was trying to tell everybody this. That's why she was the only member of the school board, obviously, that wasn't union controlled. But she was like, hey, don't vote for this referendum because the schools that don't need the money are going to get it. And the schools that need the most improving are going to get next to nothing. So here's the other part about this. And it's difficult to explain this to folks if they don't understand this current climate that we're in. You have to show a number of schools where the kids are doing really, really bad in order to qualify for additional money, additional grants, additional IEP resources. So if you ask for a referendum, you could very much so invest in those schools. You could have smaller class sizes. You could have better educated teachers. You could have better technology. You can get all the bells and the whistles, right? But they won't. You need to show a certain number of schools. And if you can show a majority of your schools are in need of improvement, thank you, Jill Underly. She plays into this system, and y'all elected her. Oh, God, I want to cuss so bad. She was looking at you in your face and lying to you. And I think this week is like National Public Schools Week. It's the biggest grift I've ever seen. The same white women that voted for Donald Trump, 53% of white women that voted for Donald Trump, are also 84% of your public school teachers. Do the math on that, please. They know exactly what they're doing. The same people that put him back in office, the same women that didn't want to vote for her, voted for him. Not only are they the majority of the people teaching our kids, they're unionized too. So they are protected in their failure. Oh, it's a brilliant system. I have a feeling I'm telling some of y'all that for the very first time, and you've been living and voting in this city and in this country for 60 years. All of the nonsense and the ignorance and the misinformation stops right now because we cannot continue on the current path and trajectory that we are in. We are in another war. It's frustrating. I need a vacation. So you got to show a number of schools where the kids are doing really bad, and that allows you to not just ask for more money from the voters. It can qualify you for additional money and resources and grants that still does not go to those schools that need that investment. It's like when rich people get a tax cut. So I want you to look at society like that. It's stratified. Rich people they don't even care. You can be so rich that you have an accountant and you just hi accountant, just do whatever. They're so rich they don't need a tax cut. They don't ask for it. They're so wealthy that money isn't even real to them anymore. Just like the schools that have, like you got MPS schools where you can play the tuba. And another school in the same district where kids literally can't read. You got some schools NPS will send kids to Europe for a week. You got other schools where they don't have the money to send the kids to a field trip to the damn art museum. So the segregation in this city, yes, it exists geographically, but it's also income, but it's also how we segregate the money that's supposed to be investing in our kids. And here's what the outcome is. 2/3 of U.S. adults with low literacy rates are U.S. born and white, and 34% are foreign born. You didn't see that one coming, did you? 2/3 of U.S. adults with low literacy skills are born in America. White and Hispanic adults represent the largest segments of those with low literacy skills at 35% and 34% respectively. Wait a minute. I want to talk to the black people for just a second. White people, you're allowed to listen because I don't want to segregate you. White and Hispanic adults represent the largest segments of those with low literacy skills. Black people, not only are we arguing with white people and trying to explain to them why we need a Black History Month, we're arguing with white people that can't read. Well, how come we need a Black History? We need it for you. Literally for you. White and Hispanic adults represent the largest segments of those with low literacy skills at 34% and 35% respectively. 3 out of 4, or 75% of state incarcerated individuals did not complete high school or are classified as low literate. So a lot of people can't read. Put them in jail. That's where they belong. Incarcerated individuals who participate in correctional educational programs are 43% less likely to return to prison. Oh, so if you teach them how to read, they don't go back to jail? Illiteracy is key to maintaining racism, and increasing literacy is a key to stopping recidivism in prison. It's literally that simple. Only 53% of U.S. immigrants are proficient English speakers. 3 out of 4 people on welfare have the lowest 2 levels of literacy. 20% of Americans read below the level needed to earn a living wage. Half of the unemployed between 16 and 21 cannot read well enough to be considered functionally literate. Half of the unemployed between the ages of 16 and 21 cannot read well enough to be considered functionally illiterate. I'm glad I can read because I could not do this job. I couldn't just... What would you even do if I didn't have scholarly articles about how functionally illiterate our country is? Are you shocked that he got elected? Can we just, for a moment, are you shocked? He was elected by those that don't have the capacity to understand. But also, him getting elected serves the people at the very, very top. To be honest with you, can I just say, I think Trump is one of these people that I'm referring to with the low levels of literacy. He don't talk about books. He doesn't talk about anything scholarly. You want to know why he hates world leaders? They're smarter than him. White and Hispanic adults represent the largest segments of those with low literacy skills of 34 and 35% respectively. I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming. Half of the unemployed between the ages of 16 and 21 cannot read well enough to be considered functionally literate. Nearly 80% of those who live in poverty read at level 2 or below. Children surrounded by adults with low literacy rates are 72% more likely to have low reading levels in school. So when we tell the parents, hey, parent, teach your kid how to read, they can't. Take a break, come back, talk to Red on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Thank you, Milwaukee. Because of you, the second annual Truth Community Awards was an unforgettable celebration of the leaders, changemakers, and heroes who make our city shine. A special thank you to our incredible partners, Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Cousins Subs, and 3rd Street Market Hall. And thank you to our presenting sponsor, Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Together, we're celebrating community, culture, and impact. We'll see you next year at the Truth Community Awards. This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the new 1017 The Truth.
The City Conference Boys Championship game did not disappoint last weekend. In the Gold Division title game, the 2-time defending conference champs, the Milwaukee Juno Pioneers, went toe-to-toe with the Milwaukee Hamilton Wildcats. This game was a back-and-forth battle, but the Pioneers made the plays down the stretch to pull out a 76-72 win behind a great performance of Gonzaga recruit and junior player Dooney Johnson, who dropped 28 points in the victory. And in the Blue Division, the Golden Meyer Owls did what they have done all year long in conference play, is just win, as they defeated the Audubon Cardinals 87-79 behind a strong performance from their senior guard Caleb Colbert, clinching the Blue Division crown. And lastly, in the White Division, the Bayview Redcats left no doubt cruising past the Vincent Vikings 90-64 to win the White Division Conference Tournament.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update.
From my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to Gruber Law Offices for taking such good care of us.
I would say thank you because you were so human and so much of a friend during the whole process.
I'm super grateful for them representing me and doing all that they did for me.
I would just say thank you for making me feel better.
That's why I'm here, to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gruber Law Offices, One call, that's all.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee.
Walk in for a suit, walk out with two. It's buy one, get one half off throughout March at Nick Avani's. Suits, blazers, hats, jeans, and more. Everything you need from a hands-on team that styles you from head to toe. Find a suit, add shoes for half the price. Land the perfect two-piece set? Now add a vest for 50% less. Prom, weddings, galas, whatever's on your calendar, now's the time to stop in to Nick Avani's. Second floor at Mayfair Mall across from AMC. Buy one, get one half off throughout March at Nick Avani's. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
A mother's reading skill is the greatest determinant of her children's future academic success, outweighing other factors such as neighborhood and family income. We always hear those stories of someone who came from real bad, destitute poverty, and they lived in the worst neighborhood, and they had to dodge bullets walking home from school, and you wonder how they made it. Now, there's a lot of factors as to how they made it, chief of them being the literacy of their mother. Let's talk to Red. Red, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
How you doing, brother?
Good.
How you doing? Hey, look, you were talking about literacy, right?
Yes.
Hey, let me tell you something. Now, when I was growing up, my mother used to read to us, and we read back to her before we got to school, right? Okay? Now, we talking late 60s, early 70s, right? Now, look, now the people sit back and teach their kids rap music, right? So where do you think they put us on the literacy part, right? Okay, so you go to college, you go to trade school, right? Okay, they got their little tricks they pull on people. You know, when you went to trade school, they pulled all the white people out and put them in the hallways and say, which one of these can I hire? So the black people sat in the classroom and say, what's going on? See, they ain't got to hire you just because you got a bachelor's degree and because you got a master's degree. You got to have a survivor degree out here, brother. They don't care nothing about that. You still got that black skin. So in America's terminology, your black skin is a crime in America. And it always will be a crime in America. I don't care if you become the president of the United States. As long as you walk around in the United States with that black skin, you is going to be a problem to them. They'll go help somebody that's 5,000 miles away and bring them here and say, okay, we're going to help them, but we ain't going to help you with nothing. You say, why not? Why not? Why ain't you let me say, oh, you think you're smart? Okay, you got your civil rights. Okay, we're going to give you a civil right, but guess what? I got some tricks to pull on you, too. I ain't got to hire you, okay? Okay, so your skin is stopping you from doing a lot of things. That's why they don't want to have black history.
Red says who? Because we're taking direction from people that can't even read. We are so concerned about how they feel about us. We need to be more concerned about how they feel about themselves. The reason why they don't want to hire us is because we functionally read better than they do. They don't want us to be competitive with them. And the other thing about getting an education, skin color be damned, is we don't have to be worried about working for them and getting hired by them. If we have an education, we can hire ourselves and members of our own community. So we need to stop living under the bubble of what Red, hold on. Red, I don't think you're quite understanding what I'm saying, which means that his mother needed to continue to read to him, because I'm not going to argue with him. Not going to. We are still looking to be helped by people. They can't even understand our situation and our predicament because they are functionally illiterate. That's where racism lives and breathes. It lives in the understanding of lack of understanding, of the inability to comprehend and critically think. That the foundation of this nation still exists because we have kept it alive, because no one has been able to study it, analyze it, critically think about it, and move us out of it. And there are people that are counting on that, and they are always going to be at the top. And it hurts white people, too. Well, here, where's my one right here? White and Hispanic adults represent the largest segments of those with low literacy skills at 34 and 35%. And skin color does weigh. Of course it does. But imagine somebody, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, working for somebody who is white and Hispanic that's dumb, but they got the position probably because they are white. And now they are managing you, and they are dumb. And yes, I'm saying dumb. When it comes to children, because it's not a child's fault, we have an obligation to educate these children. If we want to have productivity, if we want to have a workforce, if we want to be competitive against our foreign adversaries academically and in the classroom. Kids, they know nothing about that. They're born into a world where they are our responsibility so we can train them up for the future. With adults, y'all are just dumb. You are just dumb. Well, what do you want? I can't feel sorry for somebody who's going to be disrespectful to me, be mad at me, want to marginalize me, want to subjugate me to unfair treatment, and they can't read. I can't feel sorry for somebody like that. But what I will do is outcompete them. Don't argue with them. Don't get down in the gutter with them, because that's their language. The language of the simple is always the argument and the fight. Just outcompete them. Know who they are. Identify them. And just like they want to marginalize us, black people, by our skin color, marginalize them by the fact that if you use big words, they're lost altogether. That's not a very nice thing to do. But this is a competition. Everybody's looking for an advantage in capitalism. Your education is that advantage. Now, is there going to be discrimination? Now I'm becoming illiterate. Yes, there will be discrimination. But by and large, do you think the Obamas could have become what they became without not just being educated, but like lawyers? Obama was the editor of the Harvard Law Review. That's a real big deal. Do you even know where Trump went to school? Did he even go to class? Think about that for a second. Barack Obama was pedestalized because of his incredible education. And being a lawmaker and then the executive of the United States, knowing the law and being a lawyer and going to school and practicing law really helps with all of that. I don't even know what Trump's education is. And it shows. But there's a large segment of people, 74, 75 million people, that voted for him, and they fit neatly into these statistics. And I want you guys to make sure this stuff is all connected, because these things don't exist independently. There are people that are functionally illiterate that do not understand the complexities of our society, or they'll just relegate everything to religion. Well, it's just God's will. Why would God will this many people to not be able to read a ballot? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that your resignation? But also, those people need to be identified as well. Because if they think there's nothing they can do about it, or they were born black, or they were born this, or it's God's will and God controls everything, and, well, when I die, I'll go to heaven, so I can just suffer here and be miserable here and be poor here and be on welfare here and live in low-income housing here and can't take care of my kids. But boy, oh boy, when I die, that's when the party starts. That's what they want you to think. While they're having their party right now. Now, I don't like delving into religion, but any religion that tells me my good times start after I die is a religion that was given to me and thrust upon me by someone that wants me dead. Children surrounded by adults with low literacy rates are 72% more likely to have a low reading level in school. A mother's reading skill is the greatest determinant of her children's future academic success, outweighing other factors such as neighborhood and family income. More than a third, or 34%, of U.S. fourth graders have a reading level lower than basic. 27% of eighth grade students have a reading level below basic. Nearly 4 out of 10, or 39%, of eighth grade students read below proficient levels. 44% of American adults do not read a single book in a year. Low adult literacy is estimated to cost the U.S. economy $2.2 trillion a year in lost productivity and earnings. Between $106 billion and $238 billion in healthcare costs each year are linked to low adult literacy skills. Low literacy doesn't just affect individuals, it has a profound impact on the U.S. economy. Billions of dollars are lost each year due to reduced productivity, increased healthcare costs, and limited employment opportunities. Investments in literacy programs have the potential to boost the American economy, improve lives, and reduce long-term public spending. Addressing this gap is both a moral and economic imperative. Illiteracy costs American taxpayers $20 billion a year. School dropouts cost the nation $240 billion in social service expenditures and lost tax revenue. Bringing adults up to literacy level 3 could boost the economy by 10%. Less than 10% of adults with low literacy skills are enrolled in an adult education program. 4 out of 5, or 80% of adults with low skills, say they don't feel knowledgeable enough about adult education programs, making it less likely they will seek help. Well, that's self-fulfilling. 51% of adult literacy programs report putting students on a waiting list due to demand exceeding program capacity. I'm going to pause right there, take a break. Just want folks to know that we're dealing with a crisis that I don't know if it's being revealed properly. Well, I'm revealing it here on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, exclusively on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's up, everybody? March 27th, go get your tickets. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be me, Finesse Antetokounmpo, my co-host, Tony C, and Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair. It's going to be nice. It's going to be dope. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be an experience, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's basically a party/podcast.
Yeah, we're throwing a party at the Riverside, March 27th, TALiveshow.com. Who's the guest again? Can I get a woo? Woo! With Ric Flair. Can't wait.
See you guys.
It starts with a spark. At Milwaukee College Prep, they nurture that spark from age 3 through 8th grade, building scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of their students face economic hardship, but that does not define them. At MCP, they see students' potential, and they help them live up to that potential. 4 campuses, 1 mission. College and beyond, MCP is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or get involved. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You are sleeping. You do not want to believe. You are sleeping.
2/3 of U.S. adults with low literacy skills are U.S. born, while 34% are foreign born. If you're born in another country, you can read better than an American, and yet they still want to come here. Well, now I think I understand why. Imagine going to a country where you're more literate than the people of that nation. White and Hispanic adults represent the largest segments of those with low literacy skills at 35 and 34% respectively. This answers their question of, well, why do we need a Black History Month? So you can better understand. But they won't be able to understand because they can't read. What was this one about the book? There's so many statistics here. 44% of Americans do not read a single book in a year. 4 in 10, 39% of 8th grade students read below proficient levels. More than a third, 34% of U.S. 4th graders have a reading level lower than basic. A mother's reading skill is the greatest determinant of her children's future academic success, outweighing other factors such as neighborhood and family income. Half of the unemployed between 16 and 21 cannot read well enough to be considered literate. 1 in 5, or 20%, of Americans read below the level needed to earn a living wage. 3 out of 4 people on welfare have the lowest 2 levels of literacy. The majority of people that receive SNAP in this country are white, by the way. The economy. This one is just, it's a numbers debacle, which most people, because if you're not literate in reading comprehension, your math skills are probably right there as well. How do you balance your checkbook? Do people know you don't have checkbooks anymore? It's all digital. Do y'all remember having a checkbook with you had to, when you spent money, you carried around a little, like a paper binder notepad where you've wrote a check to the grocery store. You had to write in manually how much money that check was. There was no verification about going online. There was no online. If you messed your math up, you would overdraft your checking account and you wouldn't even know it if you didn't carry the 1 or minus the 2 or add the 3. If you made any math error, you go write another check to pay for something, a good or a service, the check would bounce. And you have to go back line by line by line by line in your check register to find the mistake where you didn't carry the 1. People can't even do that now. Can't even do it. Low literacy doesn't just affect individuals. It has a profound impact on the U.S. economy. Billions of dollars are lost each year due to reduced productivity, increased healthcare costs, and limited employment opportunities. Investments in literacy programs have the potential to boost the gross domestic product of America, improve lives, and reduce long-term public spending. Addressing this gap is both a moral and economic imperative. Low adult literacy is estimated to cost the U.S. economy $2.2 trillion a year in lost productivity and earnings. Between $106 billion and $238 billion in healthcare costs each year are linked to low adult literacy rates. Illiteracy costs American taxpayers an estimated $20 billion a year. School dropouts cost the nation $240 billion in social service expenditures and lost tax revenues. Bringing all U.S. adults to just literacy level 3 could boost the U.S. economy by 10%. We put a poll up on the YouTube because, we want to ask you guys a question every day. Oh, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein was linked to the Mossad, and the Mossad is the Israeli intelligence agency, where Epstein Island was a large blackmail operation where they would get people and American politicians and very influential people down to Epstein Island, put them in the room with children, photograph and videotape everything, and then blackmail those officials to do Israel's bidding. So with that being said, is the war with Iran and Epstein files distraction? It's a simple yes or no question. Do you believe that the war is a distraction? Think about where Israel is situated. It's in the middle. It's surrounded by Arab and Muslim countries. And it's a small little place. It's a little tiny. Israel is not large. It is surrounded by some of the largest nations and land masses on planet Earth. And Israel's a little tiny. It's like being a blood and intentionally moving into a Crip neighborhood where there are Crips everywhere. Soon as you leave your border, it's Crip land. Well, you need somebody to protect and defend you. But what if people say no? Well, then you need to take assertive steps to make sure that you are defended. Who has the biggest military in the entire world and who can easily be duped and fooled? America. Who has some of the lowest literacy rates on planet Earth? Who has a population that votes in elections but oftentimes can't even read referendum on the ballot? America. If you're going to fool somebody into protecting you, if you're going to get a patsy, if you're going to dupe somebody, dupe an American. Get all these very powerful, influential Americans to this island, which I think American taxpayers I think we paid for Epstein Island. I really think so. Because we don't know where all the money goes that we give to Israel every single year. We give them, $3-5 billion every single year? We as American taxpayers may have bought an island used to bribe and blackmail American officials with the threat of that information going public unless we use our military to defend Israel. Makes sense to me. Why do you think the names are still redacted? Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files as much as Jeffrey Epstein. And here's the other thing. The only person in prison for the Epstein files is a woman. I mean, it all tracks. We had to strike Iran. This is according to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Because Israel was going to strike Iran. And Marco Rubio was like, well, if Israel's going to strike Iran, Iran probably would have been mad at us too. So we as America struck Iran first because Israel warned us that they were going to strike Iran. So America, you better send your bombs over first. Who believes something like that other than an American? We are what is called, and I hate to admit this, we're a vassal state. A vassal state means we are subordinate to another country. We're America, though. But we are subordinate to a nation that sent us to war. I don't know if you guys know this, but America, we don't do good at war. Now, the spending and the wealth that's created and generated, we're really super duper good at that. But as far as winning them, no, we're not. We haven't done that in a long time. It's been a minute since. We're like the 1980s Green Bay Packers. Just winning 2 and 3 games a season, if that. So if you go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, search 1017 The Truth, hit subscribe, of course. You'll be able to live stream our programs, but also vote in our YouTube poll and share your thoughts with other like-minded and hopefully literate people that are in our YouTube chat. So far, let's see what we got here. With 81 votes, is the war with Iran and Epstein files distraction? 81% of you say yes. Huh. That's interesting. And 19% of you say no. Some of you think that we're safer now because we struck Iran and now they're going to be busy fighting us in their country and they're not going to strike us. So I got some information on the cybersecurity threats. Iran took Amazon offline in what's the country called? The fancy one, United Arab, Dubai. They bombed a hotel in Dubai. They're not playing with us, ladies and gentlemen. I got another one for you too. I want to get back to the literacy stuff because it all kind of ties in. It's a reason why so many Americans are fooled and are duped. by something flashy, by something shiny, by a damn reality TV star. And I'm not trying to disrespect people that watch reality TV. That's not high IQ stuff. But Americans would find it cool, neat, and funny and different to elect somebody from reality TV to run the nation, who's in the Epstein files, who's likely getting blackmailed to put this country in a war that we can't win. It all tracks, if you ask me. So when you're winning a war and there's concessions, if there's talk of a ceasefire, here's how it usually goes. Let's say America is winning the war. You would go to like the biggest, most fancy hotel, like a Waldorf Astoria or a Ritz-Carlton, or Trump would invite the other nations to Mar-a-Lago, and you'd have a lot of spectacle, right? You'd have a lot of cameras. You'd have a lot of national media and international media. If we were winning the war and there was a talk of a ceasefire, because Trump said that, oh, no, Iran, we're going to do a ceasefire. Think about this now. If you're winning, you want everybody to see the ceasefire negotiations, or there's going to be huge press. Donald Trump is meeting with Iranian leaders to discuss the end of the war. Here's what actually happened. So Italy has been working with the United States on trying to end the conflict in Gaza. So they've been one of our channels in which we've been communicating with leaders on the ground in Palestine and trying to end the occupation of the West Bank, right? Trump reached out to Italy to communicate to Iranian leaders that he, therefore the United States, wants a ceasefire. It wasn't done publicly because it is us that was seeking the ceasefire. If we were winning, the conversation about the ceasefire would be public. But foreign media, you will find, is going to be much more honest about what is actually happening in this country. All of our media is censored. All of it. There's a war going on, and the only thing we heard about from top to bottom yesterday was primary elections in 3 states. That's all you heard about. Then you got a little bit of war coverage. After commercial, bombs in Iran. Now back to election coverage. All of our media is censored, all of it. That's the other part of an authoritarian state that Americans don't quite grasp. All of the coverage that we need to be informed about where our tax money is going with this war is being scrubbed. Trump asked for a ceasefire. Iran said no. So what is happening right now is called a shaping mission. They are using very inexpensive missiles and drones, which Iran has more of than probably any other nation other than Russia and China. They have so many drones. They've been giving drones to Ukraine. They just got tons of them, right? They're cheap. And the missiles they're using to overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome are also cheap. $200,000, relatively cheap. But the missiles that Israel is firing are $2 million each. They're bleeding them dry. So the shaping mission that Iran is doing, like, we're screwed, y'all. I don't think you understand. We're going to lose this war. We're already losing it. Trump thought the war was going to be 4 or 5 days. When he saw it was going to be longer than that, he wanted to call for a ceasefire, but he did so quietly through a back channel. Iran said, no chance. We're bombing everything. Oh, by the way, Europe is in the war now, too. England and France are now sending warships to the Middle East. This is a global conflict started by your president that's in the Epstein files. The shaping mission is this. Iran is like, okay, let's see what happens if we do this. What happens if we throw some bombs over here? Okay, what happens if we use drones? Okay, what happens if we bomb these other American assets and other American military bases? They are testing America's defenses. They're playing with us right now. This is why no other president has bombed Iran, but Trump is dumb enough to do it. He's also scared to death that Israel is going to release what the Mossad has on him. I'm going to take a break, come back. Oh, I'm sure Al has a lot of colorful things to say. Al, look here now. Listen. Al, today is one of those days where we've had a lot of emotionally charged content. And I know sometimes, Al, you be getting hyped. You know what I mean? So, Al, I'm going to need you to not be at a 10. Let's do a 7 today, Al. Let's do a 7. I'll give you a 7.2. We'll take it down to a 7.2. On the other side, we're going to be talking to Al, who's going to be reduced to a 6.4. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey y'all, it's 1017 The Truth's Rhea Riley for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments, including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Walk in for a suit, walk out with two. It's buy one, get one half off throughout March at Nick Avani's. Suits, blazers, hats, jeans, and more. Everything you need from a hands-on team that styles you from head to toe. Find a suit, add shoes for half the price. Land a perfect two-piece set? Now add a vest for 50% less. Prom, weddings, galas, whatever's on your calendar, now's the time to stop in to Nick Avani's. Second floor at Mayfair Mall across from AMC. Buy one, get one half off throughout March at Nick Avani's. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details.
Thank you, Milwaukee. Because of you, the second annual Truth Community Awards was an unforgettable celebration of the leaders, changemakers, and heroes who make our city shine. A special thank you to our incredible partners, Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Cousins Subs, and 3rd Street Market Hall. And thank you to our presenting sponsor, Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Together, we're celebrating community, culture, and impact. We'll see you next year at the Truth Community Awards. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Smiling faces sometimes pretend to be your friend.
833-212-1017 is the phone number. 833-212-1017. You can call, you can text. Iran created a Malcolm X postage stamp dedicated to the life of the black revolutionary in 1984. They had a Malcolm X postage stamp. I don't think we've ever had a Malcolm X postage stamp in America. Iran has a street named after Patrice Lumumba, the first prime minister of the representative of the Congo, giving respect to a black freedom fighter. Iran held a conference on police brutality for African Americans in 2015. It's so much better. Now you're going to see why we're at war with them. President Hassan Rouhani and Ayatollah Khomeini, who they killed, spoke out against the death of George Floyd while white conservatives in America said he died from a drug overdose. During the Iranian hostage crisis, which cost Jimmy Carter a second term, African Americans were freed after 2 weeks, while white Americans were held for an additional 430 days because it was determined by Iran that African Americans would never spy on behalf of their country because of how racist America is, and they let our people go. Held the white ones for another 430 days. Let's talk to, hey, Al, how you doing?
I'm doing good. My only question is to these Republicans, when is you going to put your white-ass children on the front line to die, since you feel he's God? And because, shouldn't nobody black should have to die for this white man's bull sugar honey iced tea, because everything you touch turns into poison. That's why your daughters is run away and your kids grow up as meth heads and junkies. But what I find to be so funny, y'all push all this racism, but then go to the same people you hate for service. If I don't like Mexicans, I'm not going to go to them for one goddamn dime, a taco, or any services. If I hate black people, I'm not going to them for no goddamn soul food. So I don't understand when you are denied service, you want to play the victim. I never could understand that with you domesticated pigs that turns into wild boar when you break away from the farm. But then y'all sit here with all this chaos. And I'm gonna give you a newsflash. You're not better than nobody. Your sugar honey iced tea can clear out a whole block. And if you look at history, y'all was getting sick from your own sugar honey iced tea because you was putting it too close to where you sleep. That's why all these diseases came out. And then let's look at the poison that a lot of y'all are raised with. And I don't care if you're effing a black man or a black woman because you're still a no good bastard. Because you just see them as a fetish, an orgasm, and a nut. Why would you say, why are all these people kind to me? But yet, a person will be kind to you, and you will stab them in the back just for the hell of it. That's what I wanted to share with you, deep throat animals. Y'all are some sick puppies, but I think y'all been misdiagnosed as ADHD babies, and you probably have a disability that was probably gave to you at birth, and you probably could have got a crazy check, but the problem is you've been denied so much diversity, you have no wisdom for growth. And can't nobody who thinks like it's 1932 deal with somebody who lives for the future. So I want you white Republicans to have a good day, and may you rock. And be maggot food at your death. And if something catastrophic happens, don't look for the people you hate to help you. Hold your breath and effing die. Have a good day, everybody. Happy hump day. And use extra toilet paper for you racists, because some of y'all don't clean and dish anyway. Bye-bye.
I asked him to take it down. You guys heard me give the disclaimer. He was at a 9. Would y'all please stop telling Republicans to send their kids to war and people that voted for Trump to sign up for the military, and stop telling Barron Trump to go to war? You guys are missing the point. War is not for them. No, they're not going to send their kids. Of course not. Why would they do that? War, especially now, it's a distraction from Israel's secret service, basically, compiling blackmail information on American leaders in order for America to use its military resources to defend Israel. Notice in this war, there's zero coalition. NATO is not with us. In fact, Spain denied American access to their military bases. And we have brought Europe into this conflict, not as allied with Americans, but they now have to protect their own interests in this part of the world because of our military involvement to protect Israel. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
Regroup, rethink, and reshape, and get on the front lines. It's only to your benefit. I always tell people, you helping the overall ideal of a better community, it actually helps you out. It helps you out. It helps your family out. It's time. Do not bring that reactionary attitude into the new year. This is the best time to start fresh. This is the plot. They plot this out, and it's been going on for years. This is normal. This is the way it is. This is where we are right now. It's all buddy-buddy. And if you're not a part of the friend situation, you're not getting in. They don't want nobody getting in and seeing where the messy. That's why I'll never get in. Because they know I'm not going to play around about my community. They know I'm not going to sit in no meetings and see y'all shucking and jiving and sniggling and giggling and not say nothing about it. I'm going to tell you to shut up.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m., live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work, the groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
A message from Tia Mowry, actress and Fair Celebrity Ambassador.
Game day isn't staged, it's lived. It's the shopping, the cooking, the laughter. For families managing food allergy, that same spirit of preparation means everything. Because food allergy isn't a lifestyle. It's a serious, life-threatening disease that can change everything in a moment. But being ready changes the story. It's knowing the signs, having a plan, and carrying epinephrine everywhere life takes you. Epinephrine is the only treatment that can stop a severe food allergy reaction known as anaphylaxis. It works quickly to reverse the symptoms and can save lives. As families and friends gather for the big game, we see what community looks like. It's one built on awareness, care, and love in action. Because readiness doesn't take away the risk. It brings back the joy. When you're ready to act, you're ready to live.
Visit foodallergy.org/ready to act to learn more.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to hour 3 of The Truth with me, Sherwin Hughes, discussing some very important topics. The very low levels of adult literacy in this country have reached and have been at epidemic levels for a very, very long time. And it makes sense because as the demographics of this nation changes, the emphasis on education is going to be less and less and less, because you don't want oppressed people to be educated and to critically think, because they'll be able to read and figure out what's happening to them, and they will be able to assert themselves in the democracy and change it in a different direction. It is why an informed public, including a media that is unbridled, unrestrained, helps fuel a positive democracy. This is how far we've gone. So Donald Trump doesn't like the media because they will expose what he is doing, who he is. He doesn't like it, so he just diminishes it as fake. And there's still a lot of people that, believe it or not, that take what a president says as gospel. And if he says the media is fake, well, that's really all you have to do. Now the media has to defend itself. If you rewind time to, let's say, 1968, late 1960s, the civil rights movement really was aided and abetted by the American media. The main reason why Dr. King chose nonviolence was that it illustrated and highlighted when black people were dressed in their best, walking, marching peacefully just to go and register to vote, that white mobs would come out, the police would come out, fire trucks, fire hoses would come out. The violence was one way. And the people that were participating, very courageous people, because they knew that they were going to get hurt. Some of them were going to get killed. But they knew to stay nonviolent, to show when the news cameras arrived, and they did, the images they wanted broadcasted all across America showed white supremacy was violent. Black people were not. They were marching and walking and singing songs. So the media has been very, very helpful. But if you have sinister activities on your mind, then the media can be your enemy, because a media that is allowed to do what it's in charge of doing, and that's why the media is the only industry that's protected in the Constitution, because it has to exist in an air of freedom to be honest with the American people, because if we're not given the truth, we can't make informed decisions about which direction we want the country to move in. 1968, Walter Cronkite, they said, was the most trusted person in America. You will never find that now. I would say one of the biggest people in the media. Now, media is different now. It's more decentralized. It's individual because people have podcasts. But probably one of the most listened to and probably the highest paid personality in the media is Joe Rogan. Say whatever you want about him. I'm just looking at his $100 million contract with Spotify, the number of people that tune into his podcast. Would you say that Joe Rogan is the most trusted person in America? You would not. But he's a member of the media. That used to be essentially the standard. Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather, Ted Koppel. America looked to these men to tell the truth every single night about what was going on in this country. When Walter Cronkite said in 1968 that the Vietnam War was unwinnable, the war was over. Not because of a lack of diplomacy, not because we weren't taking territory in northern Vietnam, not because of casualties. We killed 1 million Vietnamese and still lost the war. We lost the war because a credible person in the media said it was unwinnable. We lost 52,000 servicemen and servicewomen in Vietnam. I believe it's 52. 52 or 55,000. I should know the number. Hell, all of you should know the number. The Vietnamese lost 1 million people and we still lost the war. Because the public was not in favor of a war that was deemed unwinnable by a credible voice in the media. Oh boy, talk to Lisa. Got a question for you guys. I guess on a little bit of a lighter note, because I want to lighten it up. Today's been kind of heavy. Well, this was a necessary conversation because it'll help explain why America is where it is, why we're being led by who we're being led by, and why you can't even have a conversation about reasonable policy. You can't even have a conversation with somebody who politically disagrees with you. I mean, especially if you're a Democrat and you voted for her and not him. You can't even sit down and chat with somebody that voted for him and supported him, or they supported him then, or they support him now. They supported him in 2016 and 2020. The reason why you can't even have a conversation with them is we come to find out the high number of people that are so illiterate, they don't even have the words to explain why they support him. And so they get angry and they get mad. I just want you all to be aware of that. Whenever you have a political conversation with somebody that can't stay on the topic, you might want to talk about a specific policy. Maybe it's the economy. Maybe it's domestic affairs or foreign affairs or whatever. And because they literally don't have the words, they can't formulate the idea or the sentence because they are functionally illiterate, they just want to argue and fight. That is why so many of our what should be intelligent political conversations that I swear we used to have, we used to could have them in this country. You can't have them anymore. Let's talk to Lisa. You're on 101.7 The Truth.
And you just love messing with me and torturing me. But anyway, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I wish, look, you can never stop learning. You parents out there, if your kids can't read or write, I fought you. I totally fought you. I understand if you can't read or write, why can't you take it upon yourself to learn? You never stop learning. Look, I went back to get my college degree. Let me tell you, I worked. This is all in the day. I worked. I went back to college. I had to take care of a sick, dying father and 2 nieces. 5 days a week. Yeah, I exercise 6 days a week. But I did that, graduated, and now, Sherwin, I'm going back to school, and I'm going to open up my business. So you never stop learning. Never, ever. I fault you parents. You never stop educating yourself.
Lisa, how long have you been listening to the show?
I've been listening to the show
today.
I just turned back to you in the past 10 minutes.
All right. I explained why we can't. It's too easy for us to put the blame on the parents as to why their kids are not doing well in school.
If the parents can't read, then it's the parents' fault.
But then if they can't read, then we got to blame their parents. And if they can't read, we got to blame their parents.
Come on, Sherwin, you got to take it upon yourself. You grown. If I can't read, I want to better myself.
At least I'm going to make it as simple for you as I can, because I'm not arguing with anybody today. That's one thing I'm not doing. Okay. People don't know what they don't know. We all come from different places in life. We've had different experiences. We have learned things. You have, I have, other people have, where we can see the deficiency in not having an education. There are other people that literally can't see it. And if we try to explain it to them, they get personally offended because we think we are better than them. People do not know what they do not know. Lisa, I probably could talk to you in great detail about some federal policy from 1982 that has harmed the black community in 2026. You would have no idea what I'm talking about. But you don't know that you don't know, and that's the example that I'm trying to use. Some people, and I'm not making up an excuse for them, but if people don't know what they don't know, you can't blame them for not knowing.
Well, Sherwin.
Yes.
Help me to understand. If they have the power of the phone in their hand and they know how to work that, then how do they? What
Lisa, you drive a car, correct?
Most definitely.
Why don't you change your own transmission fluid? When's the last time you changed your own oil? Do you rotate your own tires? Do you do your own auto maintenance? Have you ever? You have a house, right? Let me give you one more.
Yes.
You have a heater. You have a furnace, correct?
Yep.
When you need a new furnace, how come you don't replace your furnace? You might need some drywall in the basement. How come you haven't replaced your drywall? Why haven't you done all those things? You haven't changed your oil, maintained your vehicle, replaced your furnace.
How do you know I have not, Sherwin? How do you know I have not?
Because you haven't.
Because my father taught me that. Yes,
all right. So you changed the transmission fluid. You maintain your vehicle and you change the differential gear oil in your vehicle.
I know how to change the transmission fluid. I know how to change the oil. I know how to change the tires. Because my father taught me that. He taught me from a wrench,
It sounds
and a socket, and all of that. I haven't did it in years. For what? I don't want to get dirty. I don't want to go in front of the car. I got people I can pay to do that. So I don't have to. But if I had to,
you can say you don't have to because you don't know how to. That's crazy. I don't even know why I asked her that question. I said I wasn't going to argue today. Even really, really smart people are deficient in some areas. And when I ask them, well, how come you don't maintain your own vehicle? How come you don't replace the electrical wiring in your house? Well, I can pay somebody to do that. Guess what? People are not very intelligent. As long as they got money, they can pay somebody to do that stuff too. So why would they need to know how to read? Why would they need to inform their children? They don't need to. They can pay somebody. She just answered the question. That's why we emphasize money so much. For all of the ways in which you might be intellectually deficient, if you have enough money, no one cares if you're dumb because you're rich. Now, one of the ways in which you can become economically self-sufficient is with a great education and providing services or maybe being an entrepreneur or whatever. Or, I don't know, maybe you can fast-track your way to getting rich. A get-rich-quick scheme, pyramid scheme, sell dope. Because if you have enough money, you really don't have to worry. But if you want to blame parents that are literate and are intellectually on track have kids that are the same. Like, why can't we get that real simple equation? Really smart parents don't have dumb kids. They have kids that might do dumb stuff. But parents that know the value of an education because they receive one, they read to their kids, they make sure their kids' homework is done, they may challenge their kids intellectually outside of what the school is offering. In fact, they may even put their children in schools that highlight high levels of education and critical thinking because that parent knows and understands education. But if a parent does not, we can't blame them. Just like I can't blame a person for not knowing how to change the gasket on the head of their engine. Don't blame. You don't know how to do it. Nobody in your family knows how to change the head gasket on a V8 engine. No one knows how to do it in your family. So I can't be, well, your parents should have taught you how to change that engine. No, your parents didn't know either. You guys like Girl Scout cookies? I was trying to change the subject until Lisa called and trying to get me to argue. I'm not arguing with nobody today. I'm just spitting some factoids. Consumer groups, GMO Science, moms across America, and supporters have commissioned a testing of Girl Scout cookies for toxic metals and glyphosate, and AMPA, which is an herbicide and a byproduct, all of which cause cancer. So if you like Girl Scout cookies, because is this the time of year where people are selling? It is. I never liked them. I really didn't. Like, I'll eat them. But some of y'all go nuts over Girl Scout cookies. There's so many better cookies than Girl Scout cookies. I don't know if it's the marketing or if it's a trend or if it's a fad or you guys think it's cool to support the Girl Scouts. I don't even know what the hell the Girl Scouts do. I wasn't a Boy Scout either, but I also know the Boy Scouts were involved in like a 100-year child sex scandal. Oh, did you guys know about that? That the Boy Scouts was kid diddlers? I mean, par for the course for this country, because that used to be a line that people would draw, like, oh, I'll accept this and I'll accept that, but I don't accept child molestation. Yeah, you do. As a nation, we're just like, start a war to not know the details of it, because, we're all distracted easily. But I never really was into Girl Scout cookies. The lemon ones are okay. But even the best, this is my opinion. Yours may vary. Some of y'all are getting mad. You may get mad if you want. Girl Scout cookies aren't good. The best ones are just like, 100% of Girl Scout cookies that were tested positive for glyphosate, which causes cancer. All of them. 100% tested positive for toxic metal. 22 out of 25 Girl Scout cookies, or 88%, tested positive for 5 toxic metals. 76% of Girl Scout cookies were positive for levels of cadmium that exceeded EPA limits in water. And 24 out of 25, or 96% of Girl Scout cookies tested positive for lead. Earlier, I was talking about the low levels of literacy that Americans have. Do you guys know that we have things in our food here? And I'm not even talking about Girl Scout cookies. This is just one example that seems to be familiar because some of y'all love Girl Scout cookies. You're eating lead. There's things that we put in our food here in America that's illegal in most of the world. Do you guys know that? There's like food colorings and dyes, preservatives that are illegal in Europe, but they're in our food here in America. And here's what's crazy. All that stuff is on the label because we're real specific about labels on food. We got to know what's in the food. So we have the labels. When you have a country that's functionally illiterate, you can put the poison that's in the food on the label and we won't read it. We can effectively kill illiterate people with just that simple fact. We're by law because we want people to know what's in the food so you can make better choices. You got to put the sodium and the carbohydrates, and you got to put the sugar, and you got to put all the different chemicals and the preservatives and the red dye number 5. You guys see all that stuff on the labels. How many of you read it? Or if you do read it, how many of you know what any of that is? Most people don't. And it goes to the high number of illiterate people that we have in this country, that if you're eating that food, high levels of sodium, high levels of refined carbohydrates, and you have the food dyes, and you have preservatives, you are killing yourself, and they are killing you on purpose because they know you can't read and comprehend the poisons in the food that you're eating. But it's Girl Scout cookie season, so I'm sure you all have placed your orders. So by all means, support your local Girl Scout troop. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Ben Bryant
Sommers here from ESPN Milwaukee, and I just want to officially declare I will be dominating Bowling for Babies.
Ben, it's charity bowling. You don't get a championship ring.
There are lanes, there are competitors, and there's going to be greatness.
Okay, but more importantly, WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies is going to benefit the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
So while I'm throwing strikes,
you're helping local families get essential baby supplies.
But we are also competing for 4 tickets to a Green Bay game and a VIP tailgating experience.
Sign up today at WTMJ.com/cares.
This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the new 101.7 The Truth.
The City Conference Boys Championship game did not disappoint last weekend. In the Gold Division title game, the 2-time defending conference champs, the Milwaukee Juno Pioneers, went toe-to-toe with the Milwaukee Hamilton Wildcats. This game was a back-and-forth battle, but the Pioneers made the plays down the stretch to pull out a 76-72 win behind a great performance of Gonzaga recruit and junior player Dooney Johnson, who dropped 28 points in the victory. And in the Blue Division, the Golden Meyer Owls did what they have done all year long in conference play, is just win, as they defeated the Audubon Cardinals 87-79 behind a strong performance from their senior guard Caleb Colbert, clinching the Blue Division crown. And lastly, in the White Division, the Bayview Redcats left no doubt cruising past the Vincent Vikings 90-64 to win the White Division Conference Tournament.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update.
Walk in for a suit, walk out with 2. It's buy one, get one half off throughout March at Nick Avani's. Suits, blazers, hats, jeans, and more. Everything you need from a hands-on team that styles you from head to toe. Find a suit, add shoes for half the price. Land a perfect 2-piece set? Now add a vest for 50% less. Prom, weddings, galas, whatever's on your calendar, now's the time to stop in to Nick Avani's. 2nd floor at Mayfair Mall across from AMC. Buy one, get one half off throughout March at Nick Avani's. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details.
At Versity on King, we believe taking care of our community starts right here, together. Every day, neighbors step up to donate blood, helping save lives in Milwaukee and beyond. But Versity on King is more than a donor center. It's a place for health education, community connection, and support, especially for families facing conditions like sickle cell disease. When you donate blood, you're not just giving. You're showing up for your community. Visit versity.org/Versity on King to learn more or schedule your donation today. Versity on King, rooted in community, powered by hope.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 101.7 The Truth is the proud home of Milwaukee Panthers basketball. It's college basketball tournament time, and tonight the Horizon League Conference Tournament heats up with the Panthers taking on the Detroit Mercy Titans. Scott Wars has the coverage starting at 5:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panther Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off is set for 6 o'clock in the p.m. time, Central Standard Time. Go Panthers. Sorry if you guys like Girl Scout cookies. Girl Scout cookies contain lead, arsenic, cadmium, aluminum, and mercury at levels that exceed regulators' recommended limits, as well as concerning amounts of a toxic herbicide. A new class action lawsuit alleges Girl Scout cookies are being sued because they got poison in them. And you guys are talking in the YouTube chat. If you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search 101.7 The Truth and hit subscribe. Somebody just said that they ate a whole box of Girl Scout cookies yesterday. And I'm trying to make a point of literacy levels in this country are so low that they can put poison in your food, tell you on the label there's poison in your food, and we won't read it, or don't know how to read it, or don't know what the chemicals are, and buy the food anyway. Hell, I'm guilty of it. Because I'm just like, if it tastes good. You know what's the worst irony ever of being a human being? There are several. The worst is the most delicious food, like culinary enlightenment, is all poisonous. It's awful. Why can't I lose weight eating ribeye steaks and chicken wings? Like, you'll die eating all the delicious foods. Nobody want to eat no damn salad. Yeah, every now and again you got to eat a salad now. Even though they say you're not supposed to eat salads at a restaurant, I'm so sick of hearing about stuff we can't do. They say nobody washes the lettuce. Like, it's so rare that salad materials, they're not washed. And there's a lot of herbicides and pesticides. So when you buy fruits and vegetables and you eat them at home, you wash your salad. You wash the lettuce, you rinse it off. They say at restaurants that never happens. Look at the listeria outbreaks and when like Chipotle and other like big food, quick service restaurants have these outbreaks, it's always the lettuce because nobody washes it. So they say at restaurants, even high-end fancy restaurants, they're like, don't order salad. Get soup or get bread or get some other kind of appetizer because salads are the main transmitters of these foodborne illnesses. So I'm trying to save people's lives here. I'm trying to provide information that I know for a fact nobody else is providing, and it breaks my heart because we deserve to know the truth because media has been so damn tainted. Because if I find some stuff, please know, y'all, I'm going to share it with you. Some things that can bring us out of the dark, can better explain what's going on in our world, because most people wake up every day and they literally don't know what is happening. Because so much is taking place that we can't understand, we can't comprehend, and I do my level best every day, some days better than others, to try and explain and demystify what the hell is going on. And the reason why so many people in this nation can be manipulated into voting for him, and here's what's crazy, he's been manipulated too. We're in another war. And a man literally campaigned on ending all the wars and put us in arguably the worst one we have ever been in. Iran is playing with us right now. It's called a shaping mission. They're doing a little bit of this. They're doing a little bit of that. They're trying to test to see what America's defenses are. Trump sought a ceasefire. Used a back channel in Italy that we've been communicating with because we've been working with Italy on trying to resolve the conflict in Gaza and Palestine. Trump went to that same back channel because he thought the war was only going to be 3 or 4 days. It's not. Iran is like, we've been waiting for this for 40 years. Come on. Oh, we screwed up so bad. He sought a ceasefire, and Iran said no. If we were winning, Trump would have had the ceasefire press conference on every network. It would have been at the Oval Office. It would have been at the White House. It would have been on the White House lawn. It would have been at Mar-a-Lago. It would have been a spectacle. Imagine Trump's ego, which is already big, if we were winning the war and Iran was calling for the ceasefire. Imagine he would promote victory. He would use that to boost his status and his standing heading into the midterm elections. But he sought a back channel. You only seek a back channel for a ceasefire when you're losing. We're losing the war that we started 4 days ago. That's a record. Let's talk to her. Hi, Miss Nikki. How are you today?
Hey, Sherwin. Thank you so much for taking my call. And I want to continue to listen to you, so I hate to kind of break in. But since you mentioned Europe and then the foods that the ingredients that they don't allow in their foods, I want to bring something to your attention, which you may already know. Do you shop at Aldi?
I do not.
Okay. Aldi is a European store. And what people do not know is that their private labels, which some people may consider generic, does not have the ingredients in it that are banned in Europe, that U.S. allows. So when people say, I don't go to Aldi, they don't understand that Aldi really rebranded. And you can get some of the most organic items there at Aldi, and it just so happened not to be your big name brand items. A lot of people think that Kellogg and all these GM and all these other places, these companies have the best product. They do not. If, like you said, if you really read the label and look at what's in the foods and understand that, you would understand that Aldi carries some of the highest quality foods as long as it's private label. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me, Miss Nikki.
You're welcome.
All right. Appreciate your call. Yeah, I didn't know that. So Aldi used to be here in the early 90s, and they were like super, super low caliber, low quality. I don't know if they still do this, but it was annoying. You got to pay for your shopping cart. You had to bring your own bags, and you had these people bringing big cardboard boxes for their groceries. And Aldi did that to further save costs so they could pass those costs on to the consumer. Then all the Aldi went away, and they recently came back. When I say recently, maybe the last 10 or 15 years, but they were here 30 years ago, and they were super duper low end. Since they have rebranded and really expanded, I haven't been back because I remember the Aldi back in the day where there was no fruits and vegetables, there was no produce. It was all packaged foods and processed food. And we already had Cub Foods and Jewel Osco, and you had a bunch of Pick and Saves. You had a lot of different grocery store chains in Milwaukee, so Aldi was just not one that my family went to. But now they're back, and I guess, and I believe, Miss Nikki, that they have all, because they are a German company. And, you know, the Germans, they've had to make sure that the food is pure. You want to hear some irony? When Iran started bombing Israel, I have footage in the Hughes Views Facebook group of what you're not seeing on American news. Israel is getting shelled. Tel Aviv is getting bombed like you wouldn't think that it. Tel Aviv is getting bombed like they were doing to Palestine. So there's that. So when they started their camp, when Iran started retaliating against Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu had to flee. And then he had to circle and circle because there was no safe place for him to go in the early days and early hours of Iran's retaliation. Okay? Guess where he went to find refuge? Germany. Ain't that crazy? Talk about irony. Because there was a period of time where someone who would be in Israel would not want to be in Germany. Like 90 years ago, it wouldn't have been a place for him to land. But now the German, Mr. Netanyahu, you may come and land. We will protect you. So shout out to the German people for, turning over a new leaf, I suppose. Less than 10% of adults with low literacy skills are enrolled in an adult education program. 4 out of 5, or 80% of adults with low skills, said they don't feel knowledgeable enough about adult education programs, making it less likely they'll even seek help. 51% of adult literacy programs report putting students on a waiting list due to demand exceeding program capacity. 63% of adult literacy programs have waiting lists due to insufficient funding and volunteers. In 2019 and 2020, 1.1 million adults were enrolled in federally funded adult education and literacy programs, down from 2.78 million in 2001-2002. Only a small percentage of those in need receive adult literacy services, and many programs have waiting lists due to high demand. Federal adult education funding is allocated based on a percentage of people without a high school diploma in a particular state. 29% of adult basic literacy students enter a program reading at or below the 3rd grade level. So for all of you people saying, these parents need to read better and teach their children better. Even if the parents do realize that they're not very good at reading and reading comprehension and their children are suffering, because earlier I read a mother's level of literacy has the most profound effect on a child's level of literacy. It even outpaces income and neighborhood. So if the mama is a good reader, the mama's smart, the baby's going to be smart, even if they live in a poor neighborhood. So even the parents that realize, snap, I need to improve my reading skills so I can help my kids, they can't even get into the programs because there's no federal funding and there's waiting lists. Take a break, come back, give you a few more statistics on just how bad it is here in the United States and how low our reading levels are amongst adults that leads us to the situation that we find ourselves in, not just socially and economically, but politically as well. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Have you ever been contacted by a stranger who asked you to invest? Maybe it was a new online love interest, investment coach, or social media influencer. In reality, it was likely a scammer who wanted to take control of your money and disappear. Before investing, talk to someone you already know and trust to verify if an opportunity is too good to be true. Learn more at datcp.wi.gov. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad, and I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. This is a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals and plates are piled high with flavor, and lakefront sunrises set the stage for unforgettable days. See, here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring. It's a place that welcomes you with open arms, where joy is shared through bites of food, beats from our favorite music artists, and cheers for our sports teams. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. All right, everybody. Learning how to read. That's what we all need to do. So I want to define the levels of literacy, because as I was going through the statistics, it's referring to different numeric levels, and I want to define those for you before I get back to the state that has the highest level of literacy in the country, and it's probably not the state that you think. So below level 1, I'm talking about adults now, not children. These are adults. If you're below level 1, you can read short, familiar texts, but struggle with basic, everyday reading tasks. This is basically somebody that can read a nursery rhyme. Level 1 is basic, simple tasks, such as finding a single piece of information in a short text or filling out really simple forms. Level 2 The ability to make inferences and compare information, but generally limited to simpler, familiar material. Level 3, capable of reading dense, long, or complex texts and understanding different perspectives. This is considered the standard for navigating modern work and life. And then levels 4 and 5 are high-level information processing, including analyzing, synthesizing, and interpreting complex technical information. 2% of American adults are at level 4 or 5. That's shameful. Something else that, of all the statistics that I read, and I gave y'all a lot, here's the one that gets me. White and Hispanic adults represent the largest segments of those with low literacy skills at 34 and 35% respectively. Whoever would have thought? All right. If you had to guess, what state would you all think has the highest level of literacy? Maybe Boston. Boston's not a state. Maybe I'm illiterate. You know, out east where they have all the fancy schools. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont and New Hampshire, maybe Maine. What about California? A lot of smart people in California. What about Washington State and Oregon? Not Florida. Definitely not Texas. Neither of the Virginias. It's actually Minnesota. Minnesota has the highest adult literacy rate. But get this, though. This is what qualifies as the highest in the country. 57% are at a level 3. That's the highest literacy rate in America. 57% rather, are at a level 3 proficiency. So just over half of the people in Minnesota are average. Oh, no. New Hampshire does have the highest at 94.2%. Minnesota has one of the highest at 57%. California has the lowest adult literacy rate amongst U.S. states. 76.9% are below level 3. In New Mexico, 29% of adults scored at level 1. State funding for adult education varies widely, with New Mexico spending $6.2 million and Minnesota spending $50 million in the years in which we have data. The percentage of U.S. adults scoring at or below a level 1 increased 19% in 2017 to 28% in 2023. The gap between the highest and the lowest performing adults widened between 2017 and 2023, with top scorers remaining steady while low scorers increased. The pandemic is considered a major reason for recent declines in literacy rates as students lost significant instructional time. The average literacy score of U.S. adults declined by 12 points from 2017 to 2023, according to data. Adults at a level 1 or below can comprehend simple sentences and short paragraphs, but struggle with multi-step instructions or complex texts. Let's talk to... You go first. Hello?
Yes.
Hey.
I know you're going... Hi there. I know you're going to another subject, but I just wanted to make you and the community aware that as a result of what's going on over in the East now with Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and Iran and all that, there are American citizens, African Americans, that are stranded over there, and so they just wanted people to be aware that the State Department has basically told them that they're on their own, that there should be no expectation of any help from the government, USA government, in terms of getting them out. They to continue to use their own resources to try to figure things out. So I was just doing that on behalf of some people that had made us aware that they were stranded there. So
have you spoken?
Thank you for letting me come in. Come on.
Have you spoken? Can I know who is this? Can I? You don't want to tell us what your name is?
You
sound familiar. We've talked before now.
It's Umrani, but it's you. I just told him you, Umrani.
Oh, okay. Have you spoken, Umrani, directly with people who are stranded?
They're texting.
Oh, and they say that they can't leave. What countries are they in again?
This particular group's in Dubai.
Yeah, they're gonna have a tough time getting out. It's not. I think you made it seem like it's just black people. The people that you spoke with are African American, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes. Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, it's all Americans that are overseas.
That it's only. Yes. It's any American at this point. I was just speaking because I'm African American.
Fair enough. All right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you for telling us.
So yes. So they and we are exhausting, all the resources, but they just said they still wanted people in the United States to know, to just be aware that there are people that are stranded over there, and that the response from the State Department has been, figure it out. So we'll work and hoping that everybody that we know anyway that gets out. So thank you.
Okay, thank you too. When it was, let me see, today is Wednesday. When did this start? Saturday. Sunday. Saturday. Well, Saturday morning, so Friday in the Middle East. The week prior, there were the threats that we were going to invade Iran, and there was notification that American diplomats and any Americans that were in the Middle East were to leave. Whenever the United States gives that bulletin that they're evacuating their diplomats, that's usually a good sign, but a lot of folks think, oh, I'm in Dubai, I'm safe. We're at war with the whole region. You know what else bothers me? We call it the Middle East. Middle to what? Think about it. We call like India and Asia the Far East because they all were colonies of England. We call it the Middle East because it's in the middle compared to England. Isn't that crazy? Like when we refer to the region, we still use colonial language. It's not the Middle East. It's the Middle East if you think London is the center of the world, which clearly it's not. We don't call America the Middle West, do we? No, we don't. But that's just something else, that we use colonial language to describe a whole region. Because when I say the Middle East, immediately you know exactly where I'm talking about. But we never stop to think, what is it middle to? And then the Far East, which we used to call the Orient. Well, it's the Far East because it's really far away from, the center of the world, which is England. Let you think about that one. I'm going to take a break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Horizon League Conference Tournament has arrived, and it is win or go home. On Wednesday night, the Milwaukee Panthers head to Michigan to take on the Detroit Mercy Titans in the first round of the conference tournament.
Panthers with another takeaway. Aguilar with numbers left to right. Stevie Elam steps into a three and buries it.
Scott Warris has the coverage Wednesday starting at 5:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock. This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the new 101.7 The Truth.
The City Conference Boys Championship game did not disappoint last weekend. In the Gold Division title game, the two-time defending conference champs, the Milwaukee Juno Pioneers, went toe-to-toe with the Milwaukee Hamilton Wildcats. This game was a back-and-forth battle, but the Pioneers made the plays down the stretch to pull out a 76-72 win behind a great performance of Gonzaga recruit and junior player Dooney Johnson, who dropped 28 points in the victory. And in the Blue Division, the Golden Meyer Owls did what they have done all year long in conference play, is just win, as they defeated the Audubon Cardinals 87-79 behind a strong performance from their senior guard Caleb Colbert, clinching the Blue Division crown. And lastly, in the White Division, the Bayview Redcats left no doubt cruising past the Vincent Vikings 90-64 to win the White Division Conference Tournament.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need
the $100 hookup.
This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavanis.com.
At Versity on King, we believe taking care of our community starts right here, together. Every day, neighbors step up to donate blood, helping save lives in Milwaukee and beyond. But Versity on King is more than a donor center. It's a place for health education, community connection, and support, especially for families facing conditions like sickle cell disease. When you donate blood, you're not just giving. You're showing up for your community. Visit versity.org/Versity on King to learn more or schedule your donation today. Versity on King, rooted in community, powered by hope.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Brittany says, Aldi, definitely not expensive, and yes, you still pay for a cart, and you have to bring your own shopping bags. I'd feel weird, though, bringing shopping bags into a grocery store. Let's see. Rodney says, look at Campbell's soup, modified chicken. It's in almost every food pantry in America. No, the hell it's not. I can't even remember the last time I bought some Campbell's soup. And if I did, it was because I needed like cream of chicken or something for a recipe. But I can't even remember the last time I made something with cream of chicken. Campbell's soup, just soup in general, canned soup is bad for you just because of the amount of sodium that's in it. Leon says, I wonder, did you see the McDonald's CEO take the tiny bite of the new burger they had? Yeah, I saw that. It went viral. McDonald's did it on purpose, y'all. McDonald's did that, made the CEO look weird, awkward, and uncomfortable. McDonald's knows how to make an advertisement. We have been watching McDonald's advertise to us for 70 years. They even had a clown. Remember Ronald McDonald? I wonder where he is. Is he still around? He probably got caught for pedophilia, too. He looked like he was a freak. Old redhead. You know, redheads be some freaks. McDonald's knows exactly what they were doing. They did that on purpose. Then they've since taken the video down, but everybody's still talking about it. Otherwise, I promise you, you all would not be talking about a McDonald's commercial because we've seen them for so long. They even had, remember the characters, the Hamburglar, and who was the other ones? Grimace? Was Big Bird one? No, that's Sesame Street. But they had a lot of different advertising mascots over the years. And so they decided to do something different to announce the return of, not the return, is it a return or is it a new burger? I think it's new, the McArch. I'm surprised I even know what it's called, but because of that social media clip they put of the CEO, it was so weird and awkward. Hi everybody. I'm about to try the new McArch. Yeah, let me take a bite of it. Yay. And it was just awkward and weird, and he took the tiniest bite. Y'all know that when you take a bite out of a McDonald's burger, you take a big bite. Here it is. Is it right here? Let me see what I got.
You've heard about it. Here it is, the Big Arch. This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada. I love this product. It is so good.
The fact that he's calling a burger product and he keeps referring to, this product was tested. First of all, Americans don't care where a burger has also been eaten. We don't care about that. It was designed to be cringy so that, and look, now I'm over here talking about it on my radio show. And I ain't going to lie to you, because I did see the social media ad or the guy, the CEO, taking the bite of the McArch, and it was weird, and people were talking about it and posting about it and sharing and basically laughing at this guy. I was riding around yesterday. I was like, damn, I might want to try that. And it looks juicy. As long as you get people talking about your product, look at them.
That is so good. That's a big bite for a big arch.
And they show the bite, and he barely even took a piece of lettuce. Like, I'm looking at the burger right now after he bit it. It looks like it's untouched. But no, McDonald's did that on purpose. They are masters at advertising. Which just goes to show, I always use this as an example. So I worked in radio for a long time. And there are businesses that no one's ever heard of before. They're brand new. They're not really established. And they want to advertise on radio. But they think that just buying a single commercial to play one time is enough to get their product or their service or their business well known. And it isn't. I've seen it before. I've worked at radio stations that if you paid $42 or whatever it was, they would run your one 30-second commercial one time in the show of your choice. I am not kidding you, because that's what people would do. Like, oh, I got a commercial. Well, you guys play, $42 or $45, whatever it used to cost back in the day. And then a week later, they'd be like, I haven't seen an uptick in my business. I can't believe this. They would even want their money back. I advertised on your radio station and my business didn't triple overnight. Okay, well, how long was your advertising campaign? Oh, I just played one 30-second commercial during Sherwin show, and I didn't see any results. McDonald's has served y'all billions of hamburgers since the 1950s, and they still advertise. So if a company is well known, Coca-Cola still advertises. Everybody knows what Coca-Cola is. If you want your product to be well known, you have to constantly and continuously promote it. And McDonald's is doing exactly that. But yeah, I did see it, Leon, and it was very awkward, but it was awkward on purpose. Who's going to refer? Because when you think about it, if you refer to a burger as, quote, product, that's not what I think of when I think of a hamburger from McDonald's. I sure am hungry today. I think I'll go to a drive-thru and purchase a food product in the form of a fast food sandwich. Nobody talks like that. But it was very much done on purpose to get us to talk about it. All right, Rodney says, food pantry as in donation box distribution. Oh, is that where people have all the Campbell soups at? Yeah, I've noticed that when people receive food from food pantries, it's always really unhealthy. You ever notice that? And I can't shame the food pantries for what they distribute, because people would rather have that, I'm sure, than nothing at all. But it was a topic that we brought up on my show, I think during the holidays, or it was right around the time or just after they had the stoppage of SNAP benefits. And I just focus for a moment on the fact that people that have the least amount of money that can't afford fresh fruits and vegetables and produce, if they're getting donated food, I think that's the least that we can do, is give them the healthiest food choices possible. But that's not always the case. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.
Come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness or just